Guys, welcome back to the channel. As you know, we're heading to Lake Fork soon. And so before you go to a lake that you hadn't been to in a few years, you need to gather some information. Now, the information I've gathered, of course, from the Elite series, watching it, but also knowing is that the lake is down about 6 foot. Now, there are a few ways that you can actively scout for these things. You can use your, of course, get on the internet and do those type of things, or you can do a couple of different things. You have a fish finder, but who wants to sit in the seat of the fish finder and do all their work? Or you can use your Active Captain app. I'm going to show you on the Active Captain app how I do the depth offset, being that the lake is 6 foot low, and how I highlight the areas that I want to fish or that I think I'll be targeting, because I fished there quite a few times at night, and I kind of know what I like to do, what I like to do that fits my style, which is kind of power fish, and I love to power fish at night. And I'll be using Livescope, mostly in the perspective mode this time, because there's not a lot of docks to fish like that. So you'll have to be fishing flats and shallow points and things like that. I'm going to show you how I target, or how I concentrate and narrow down those areas that I'll be fishing. So let's get straight into it. Let's use the Active Captain app. I'm going to do a voice overlay and show you what I'm trying to do. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Let's get into this Active Captain app. Let's go. I want to apologize. I understand it's sideways, but the only way I can record the whole screen, you're going to have to turn your phone sideways or tilt your head of the TV. But since we're going to Lake Fork, let's get straight into this. You want to download the Lake Fork area map. Okay, so when you push download, it's going to bring up, you get a choice of a couple different maps here. You can also subscribe and get daily chart updates. And that, if you do subscribe, then it will update the lake levels for you. But I'm not subscribing because I'm only going there one time. Okay, so now that I've downloaded the Lake Fork map, you'll see a very detailed contour line map. It's amazing, it's beautiful, but there's some things we've got to change. We know that the lake is 6 foot deep, so in the top right hand corner you're going to push the 3 little lines and go to chart settings. Now there's a few things you want to make sure you turn off right here. Turn off your quick draw community. I don't want quick draw because it's got a beautiful contour map as it is. We don't need it. But there's a few things that we can do to assist ourselves if you're not going to purchase the card in creating an accurate map. You'll want to go to depth shading, and we're going to hit it right here, and you see a list of, you can make as many depth ranges as you want. But here's what we're going to do. We know the lake is 6 foot depth, so we're going to say from 0 to maximum depth of 6 foot, we're going to make that color red. Now that we have that color set as red, we're going to click done. Now, what this will do is take any area in the lake that's 0 to 6 foot, and it'll now be red. Now, secondly, we're going to click on just any of the other depth ranges. In this case, there's one that's set at 6 to 13 feet. And I'll explain everything that we're doing here. But in the 6 to 13 feet, we'll click on it. Now, we're concentrating on 0 to 10 foot. Now, we do know that 0 to 6 is now dry. So starting at 6 foot, which will be 0 now, we'll put in about 16 foot. So 6 foot to 6 foot 16 is now 0 to 10. I hope that's not too confusing, but with the lake level down 6 feet, you got to subtract 6 from all of that. And we'll label that yellow. And the third thing I want to do is I want to create a deep water contour color. Or a deep water depth shade. There's one right there that says 15 to 30. We'll click on it, and then we'll show you what we're going to do there. And we'll start when we click on that depth shading level there. I believe it's 15 to 30. Has a check mark beside it. We're going to click on it, and we're going to use that as a deep water depth shade. Now, the reason that is because we want to make sure when we're up here fishing these shallow flats. I know how I like to fish at Lake Fork, because I like to get on shallow flats or long extending flat points. These fish will pull out of deep water, get up there and feed. So we're going to set our minimum depth on this deep water at 16, and we're going to go out to say 30. We're going to make that color blue. Now you see how I can check and uncheck certain areas. I'm only going to turn on 3 of the depth shadings, 16 to 30, 6 to 16, and 0 to 6. And the reason we're going to do that is, as we go back to our map, you'll really get an idea of what areas we're trying to fish. Now, there we go. All the red, that is your new bank line. So we've kind of manipulated the map. The yellow are the areas that I want to concentrate fishing, and the blue is the deeper water areas. Now, how can we use this? What we'll say is we're going to try to find long, flat points, things like that, long flats that have deep water close to them. For example, points that are long and flat, that extend way out, and then just essentially fall off into deep water. Those fish will pull up on those, and when they pull up on there, they'll pull up their feed, and then they can quickly get back to deep water. Well, here's a long, it's a beautiful point right there, but see how that long, flat point extends way out. You'll see the yellow extending way out. Got deep water on both sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a waypoint there. And how do you do a waypoint? You just touch the screen, and it brings up a circle. You click on that. You can rename it. Now it's going to bring up a whole area right here. You can rename it. You can change the symbol. You can do lots of things. We're going to call it Lake Fork and put fish number 1. There's really no reason behind the name. Just putting fish number 1 gives you all the details. And everything, if you were actually on the lake, it would store even more information. But we'll continue searching and looking for areas now, and we'll just do a couple here. But the research, I'll do a lot more research as we're looking around. Just you can look down the banks. You can now see, remember, the red is the new bank line. If you've got those, like right here, there's an island. Obviously an island because the red creates the island because that is now dry, and you have a road bed running up in between it. You got deep water all the way surrounding it. That's an area that I'm going to want to fish. I know this area well. If I'm not mistaken, this is where Lee Livesey won the tournament last year on top waters. So it's a good island. It's a good nighttime spot. It's got real deep water nearby, but you can also fish shallow. And you know, that's what I'm going to do, is be targeting that 0 to 10 with big spinner baits, top waters at night, throwing across here, using my Livescope in perspective mode to be able to target these areas and target fish individually and make casts directly to fish. Well, guys, I hope that helped out. And I hope that helped out. I'm sorry once again for the screen being turned sideways, but it's the only way I could get it onto the screen and get you all the information you needed. And don't forget, here's the Elite Series winner. You picked Lee Livesey. We had a few people pick him. Nobody hit the weight. Somebody was really close. Somebody was like 1.5 pounds off. But the winner was right here. But guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. This is going to be a week-long series. We're going to do this all the way up to the time we go to Lake Fork. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and ring the bell.